start.
Good afternoon. We are final year EC students Anamika and Geeta Lakshmi from Veditech Engineering College from the Department of ECE. We are doing a final year project titled FPGA implementation for real-time chroma key effect using an adaptive filter under the guidance of our internal guide Mr. H.K. Singh and in the supervision of our external guide Mr. T. Nagasundaram, who guided us very nicely in the span of these 3 months in the company BSNL. Now let's come to the objective. The main objective of our project is to implement a real-time chroma key effect on the FPGA board and to reduce the hardware complexity by using the APC and OMS algorithm. Abstract. The abstract tells you what actually chroma key effect is. Chroma key effect is also known as green screen or blue screen technique. It is called so because the picture has been merged and it is taken in front of either a green screen or in front of a blue screen. The chroma key helps you to merge two pictures and in order to get a composite frame for special effects. It is a very simple yet powerful tool used in the field of filmmaking. Chroma key. Now we shall see what actually chroma key is. Chroma key is a technique using which the foreground object is extracted from the foreground frame and it is merged within background frame in order to get a composite frame for special effects. For example, you can see in this figure we are having a foreground frame. From here the foreground object is extracted, it is merged with the background frame and a composite frame is obtained in order to get special effects. Here the girl is standing in front of a green screen, but the final image will give you the picture. It will be seen as if the girl is standing in front of a landscape. The existing system. The existing system for studying chroma key technique is called as coarse and fine filter. It uses the filter called as coarse and fine filter and the algorithm which is used here is K-means algorithm. In the existing model we are having two iterations or basically two cycles. The first one is coarse cycle and the second one is fine cycle. Here the pixels are processed and filtered twice and hence the buffer size is increased and time also taken is very long. Thus we don't go for this technique. As I said, in the existing model we are making use of K-means algorithm. The K-means algorithm is having some disadvantages. The first one is it is having a lot of difficulty in order to compare the clusters that are produced, and the second one is we cannot predict what will be the finite number of clusters. Also the initial and final clusters sizes will differ, and the biggest drawback it is having is the hardware complexity. It is very difficult to implement. And that's why we are going for the proposed model. In the proposed model we are making use of an adaptive filter instead of making use of a coarse and fine filter. The adaptive filter is having a very nice technique of adapting any algorithm which is given to it. So here we are giving an algorithm to it, that is APC and OMS algorithm. The APC algorithm stands for anti-symmetric product coding and the OMS algorithm stands for odd multiple storage algorithm. These algorithms are fed to the adaptive filter which we are using here, and since this is a filter based application, the computations are done based on the memory basis and these memory bits are being stored in the form of lookup table. APC OMS approach. As I was telling you, APC stands for anti-symmetric product coding and OMS stands for odd multiple storage. These two techniques, when we combine together and store the memory bits, the size of the lookup table is reduced. This is done how will be explained in the upcoming slides. This is the overall diagram of APC and OMS algorithm or the technique which we are using. Here we have 5 modules. The first one is address generator. Here we will be giving the memory bits of the pictures and those memory bits will be read and address will be assigned to it by the address generator. Now these address which are generated to the memory bits will be given to the address decoder. This is a 4 to 9 address decoder. So here we will be giving 4 input bits but the output will be 9 output bits. These 9 address bits are stored in the lookup table in the form of memory bits. This lookup table will store each and every memory bit that is coming to it unless and until it is full. Once it is completely full, it will be given a reset signal from the address generator, and the lookup table will empty itself in order to take up other input signals from the address decoder. After the lookup table, the memory bits are given to barrel shifter. The barrel shifter will perform the shifting operation. The shifting operation is done simply by doing shifting, and it can be either a right shift or a left shift. After the shifting operation, the memory bit is given to the final slot, that is add or subtract unit. Here we are already having a stored APC unit. So the memory bit which we are giving and the APC code, we will be comparing both. And if the MSB is having 1, we will be adding these 2 units, and if the MSB is having 0, we will be subtracting these 2 bits. And finally we will be getting the address of the picture. This is the output. This is the APC coding table. Here if you see, you are having inputs. These are 16 inputs, these are another 16 inputs. For them we are having the product values, and for these another 16 values we are having another product values. Here if you see, the table is 2 times like this, but if you actually see 0001 and 0001, that is A and 17A, are having the same values, only the MSB bits are differing. Here we are having 0 and here we are having 1. Likewise, if you see 2A and 18A, we are having 0010, 0010. Only the first bit, that is the MSB bit, is differing, 0 and 1. So instead of having 2 different tables, we can have one single table. So what is the main objective over here is, for every symmetric, for every anti-symmetric product coding, we are having a slot, a same address has been generated. Like for A and 17A, we have the same value 0001, and for 2A and 18A, we have the same value 0010. Only the MSB bits will be differing. So instead of having 2 different tables, we are having one single table. This reduces the size of the table to half. This is the OMS table chart. OMS table clearly states that it is storing only the odd values, and if you need the even value, it is obtained by doing a shifting operation. Here we are storing an input value A. It is an odd value. If you need an even value, that is 2A, you need to perform a shifting operation. So this 1 is shifted here. If you need another even value, that is 4A, you need to perform another shifting operation, which is this one. If you need 8A, another even value, you need to perform another shifting operation. So finally, if you see, this value of 1 from the LSB has been shifted to the MSB bit. This is how the OMS table works. This is the example, and here if you see, we are having 16 bits. After performing the shifting operation, here the final output, if you see, it is just 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 16-bit table is minimized to 8-bit table, and thus the OMS storage table also reduces the lookup table size by 50%. This is the overall block diagram of our project. Here we are having a on-chip memory which acts as an external memory. Here we will be storing all the memory bits of the picture. This bits will be given to the data block. The data block will receive input from 3 places. The first one will be from an on-chip memory. The second one will be from the background image. The background image that we are having, that will be given in the form of bits to the data block, and that image will be converted into bits using the MATLAB. And then again we have the green background. This also will be converted into bits and given to the data block. The data block will store all these values, and it will give all these bits to the row processor. The row processor will process all these memory bits on the basis of row, like on the row basis, on a horizontal basis, it will be processing all the image, all the bits. After the row processor, it will be going to the column processor. Here the bits will be done vertically. The processing will be done vertically based on the column thing. And when the processing is going on, it will be made sure that it has to go through a low pass filter or through a high pass filter. That's why we are having a low pass block and a high pass block. So whichever block it has to go through, the column processor will transfer it to that particular block. After the column processor, it will be going to the memory controller, where it will be controlled and it will be checked for which picture is being to be read. And the memory controller is giving a feedback signal to the on-chip memory. After the memory controller will get the final output. Here the picture can be finally merged. This is the overall RTL schematic. If you run the project on the Quadrant 2 tool, you can get this RTL schematic.